Real quick, before we get into the Friday fun fact video, I did want to say that if you guys want me to cover an Evo or a car topic in a future video, definitely comment below or DM me on Instagram. You know, any suggestions or anything like that, be happy to take a look and hopefully accommodate. Otherwise, let's get into today's video. Good morning, YouTube. My name is Will. This is my Evo 8RS. Enzo. Lotus. And you can probably hear whatever that is, a lawnmower or something, I don't know. Which is why we're gonna do today's video inside. But the Evo is still looking pretty clean, but you don't wanna listen to that. All right, inside where it's quiet. Hopefully it's not echoing too much or anything. So let's talk about brake boosting. Evos are turbo cars, so this probably works in just about any turboed car. Generally, you're not gonna be building boost if you're just kind of cruising along. You're only gonna be building boost if you're accelerating. Now, if you're cruising along, but that cruising along happens to be going like up a hill, then sure, yeah, you'd be building boost. But generally, if you're on a flat road, just cruising or lining up next to another car, you're not gonna be building any boost. All right, so we're back outside in the Evo, so you can maybe get a little bit better lighting. And if you're not familiar, you have your three pedals, your clutch, your brake, and your throttle. So essentially what you're doing is you are going to slowly press the brake, which is obviously going to slow you down. So then what you have to do then is then accelerate a little bit to compensate for that braking, which then in turn is going to build boost. If that car is, say, a V8 or something with a lot of torque, and they're in a higher gear, the second they hit that throttle, like they're in torque. With an Evo or a turbo car, even if you have a smaller turbo and you're in higher RPMs, like there's still just always that split second kind of before boost hits. So what brake boosting does is kind of somewhat help alleviate that. Now, I'm not a racer or anything by any means, but in my experience, it will build some boost. How much boost, I think, is dependent on a lot of factors that I'm not even going to begin to speculate on. But I suspect it's the car, the turbo, the ECU, the tuning, and all sorts of things. I know from my personal experience, granted my memory may be a little hazy on this, but my Evo 9, when I had a boost gauge, it didn't boost it fully. Now maybe if I had brake boosted really hard or something, it may have gone higher, but it definitely got a few PSIs. Definitely got it moving. You know, I don't remember how much, maybe 10 PSIs or something. I don't know. I mean, it was enough that even out of my peripheral, looking at the gauge, I could tell I was definitely in boost, plus I could hear it. So then when you decide you want to accelerate, such as if you decide you want to pass somebody or decide you hear a horn honk 3 times, you obviously let off the brake and immediately floor it, but you're already partially in boost, so boost just continues to grow at that point, allowing you to kind of have more of that instant on kind of effect. And that is, in essence, what brake boosting is. Does it make a difference? Probably. If you master it and are really good at it. Does it wear your brakes down quicker? I would absolutely believe so. I'm sure this could cause all sorts of brake problems. So anything from overheating to warping to brake fade. So it's not a safe thing by any means. You know, I mean, if you did this a lot, you could essentially put yourself into brake fade before you even took off, which would mean that if you were doing this in Mexico and came up onto some local traffic in Mexico and had to suddenly stop, you might not have brakes. So just keep that in mind. If you are so inclined to master the technique, I would suggest you maybe practice on some quiet evenings alone, although probably still best to do in Mexico, but definitely alone. So that way you can kind of see how your car handles it, how your brakes handle it, and so forth. Now, if you know what brake pads you have and different things, you know, you may have a better idea of how long you can do it, but I would still maybe do some testing with that because brake fade is scary if it happens, and trust me, you don't want to experience it. Got the rope. So with that, as always, I like to keep these videos short. I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. Comment below if you have any other tips or anything like that that you would suggest people use driving around Mexico. Other than that, if you have any Evo questions or car questions specifically that you want to ask me, you can always DM me on Instagram. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, you gonna say bye? Oh, you gonna say bye? Oh, okay.
Yo.